I'm at the Mason's Arms for today's masterclass. It's set in the Corn Market in the charming historic market town in Louth, on the edge of the Lincolnshire Wolds. This handsome 300-year-old building is both bistro and bedrooms. My name is Jo Tomlinson, and today I will be presenting session 1 of 3 on pricing. How much should I be charging for my product or service? Well, unfortunately, I can't tell you how much exactly to charge for your product or service, but I can tell you some things that you should be considering when working out how much to charge for your product or service. How much should you charge? Well, something's only ever worth what somebody's prepared to pay for it. So how much is somebody prepared to pay for your product or service? Well, to work that out, you need to think about what your product or service is and where it fits amongst your competitors and lots of other variables within the equation. You might think that there's a market rate for the thing that you sell, whatever it's a product or a service, whatever it might be. You might think you have to charge the market rate. That's the going rate for what I sell. You might even think that what you're selling is a commodity. But what I'd like to explain to you is that actually, regardless of what you sell, you can determine your price point, and it's all about how you articulate what it is that you're selling so that somebody can work out whether they're prepared to pay that for it or not. Let's think about the oldest commodity in the world, water. It falls out of the sky. And yet, sometimes when we go to a posh restaurant and you forget to say the word tap in front of when you ask for a glass of water, along comes a nice bottle of posh water with little bubbles in it, and suddenly you've paid a tenner. So that thing that falls out of the sky in certain circumstances might be deemed to be worth a tenner. Or if you're in a retail establishment and you're just out and about, you might want the bottled water option because you don't have a glass or a tap available to you. And if you're at home, you're drinking what my mum used to call council pop. Comes out of the tap and it costs you precious little. So that same thing that falls out of the sky goes into all of those different things. And yet the price is different in all of those circumstances, in all of those settings. So if that's true for water, then now tell me again that your product or service has a set market price. It really doesn't. Let's think about something else that we all wear, shoes. When did you last buy a pair of shoes and it was the first pair that you tried on? We don't. We buy things for all sorts of different reasons. In the case of shoes, it might be comfort or style. It might be that we want a red sole because we're into branded products and we want everybody to look at our feet and think, oh, they're wearing designer shoes that in fairness, I couldn't even walk in. But you pay hundreds of pounds for that pair of shoes with a red sole. And yet you can go down to your local Asda or Tesco and buy the same, arguably, pair of black court shoes for 20 quid or less. And then there are places in between that other brands have that are mid-price. Better quality, arguably. You might think the better quality, better design. Somebody's going to look at those and think they're great shoes. Or you might think they're better quality, leather or whatever's gone into them, whatever product it is that you're selling. Now imagine that I said to you, I've got a pair of Louboutins to sell you. Look at the red sole. How much do you want for them, you say? 20 quid. Now you don't believe that they're Louboutins. So the next thing that you need to consider is the balance. So you've got to make sure that you get the balance right. If you'd say to somebody that you have got the best of the best hotel in the region and yet you're charging 40 quid a night, I'm not going to believe that you've got the best hotel in the region with the best chef in the best location and the best rooms. I'm just not going to believe you. If you give me something that is the best and then tell me that the price of it is low, then I'm going to think that something's not right there, that there's mixed messages going on. Most people's mums will have said to them at some point, if it seems too good to be true, then it probably is. If you don't give people the right balance of the price, the product and service and the proposition, people won't buy from you because they won't believe what you're telling them, because the messages are getting mixed. So if you're saying that you're the best, then you also need to be at the top end of the price spectrum. And if your place is at the bottom end of the market, that's fine, then you're going to need to be the cheapest around, and they might compare you then on price. The higher up the spectrum you are for proposition, for something other than price, then the more you can charge because there's less price sensitivity. How much they want to pay will depend on the more, will depend on your USP, your unique selling point. So if you want somebody to buy from you on something more than just price, then you're going to need to tell them, to articulate to them what your more is. Is it you? Is it your chef? Is it the location? Is it your 300 pocket sprung bed quality of your mattress? What is it? You need to be articulating the reason why your more is worth more, also known as your unique selling point. That can be a person. Why do people buy from you? Why do people come to your establishment? Is it for you? I mean, I once went to a restaurant and the chef came out singing. It was an Italian restaurant. That was a reason why people went to it, because they liked that as part of the proposition. Well, the next Italian restaurant down the road didn't have a singing chef, so therefore that was the USP. So what's yours? What's your USP? Why are people going to buy from you, your product or your service? That is your unique selling point. And when you can articulate that, when you can get people to buy into that, and when that is what somebody wants to buy, so if you imagine now that we flip this on its head and we talk about the unique buying point, why do I want to buy from you and make sure that that's what we're tapping into, then actually we can change the dynamic of the price sensitivity regardless of where we are on that graph. So whether we're the best of the best, mid-quartile or even basic, if we can articulate why we have got something unique that you want to buy from us, then people will inherently pay more for it. So what is your more? Why do people want to buy from you? Is it because it's newer, it's unique, it's faster, it's because of your winning charm and repartee? What is it? What is your more? Think about your more and work out how to articulate it in a way that people want to buy more at a higher price from you. So that's the end of session 1. I hope you found the session interesting and useful.